This is Rudy Giuliani, and this is America's Mayor Live. And people didn't think I'd be here.
Sorry, Democrats. We're still here.
Sorry, Democrats. Screw you. I'm here. And now you can't even get me. Look what I got. I got this specially made not only to allow my broken back to heal, but this has special powers. You can see what it's going to do to you guys. It detects crooks from miles away. Now, the problem is it only has a small storage area. So I have to go to the manufacturer and see if I can get like a hard drive where I can store, because I put in a little thing in here, tell me all the crooked Democrats within 100 miles, and we're out of power already. And so now I'm also doing money cutoffs, you know, like if they take $100 bribe or $200 bribe, I'm cutting that out. Got to be over $1,000 and stuff like that. Well, the war on drugs finally has arrived after years of talking about the war on drugs, the war on drugs, the war on drugs, the war on drugs. And it wasn't a war. It was a great effort, but no war. President Trump, as he has with everything else, has finally done what needs to be done to cut out this killer of young Americans, particularly since it's being orchestrated by foreign enemies of the United States. This is certainly appropriate. And that boat that you just saw get blown out of the water was carrying fentanyl, which means that we know for sure China is implicated in this. Venezuela is implicated in it because the boat comes from Venezuela. And if I knew where they were going, I would tell you which cartel was involved. Or they may be trying to avoid a cartel and going someplace where Tren Aragua has set up its own connections. They do both. They work with the cartels, and then they sometimes want to make sure they don't have to give away any piece, so they go directly. Whether that creates wars between them, animosity, or there's enough money to satisfy everybody, I do not know. But I do know they're not going to be worried about dividing money or anything else. They're looking right now for defense lawyers in heaven. And I don't know, with all those Islamic terrorists getting killed, I would think the defense lawyers are pretty well used up. The only good thing about this from the point of view of the Islamic terrorists is these guys are not entitled to virgins. So they can't make any claim for virgins. The Islamic guys can. And as you know, I've been reporting this for some time. The only one to do this, but I mean, this is obviously right out of the Quran, with the numerous organizations wiped out by Bibi Netanyahu, just based on the law of male and female. They're not much good pickings in heaven anymore. Man, you got to see what these virgins, you got to see what you're going to get. That's why you might want to rethink your involvement with Islamic extremist terrorism and start thinking of coming back into the fold where we don't kill anybody. You see, those Jews aren't so bad. They had a commandment called, thou shalt not kill all the infidels. Kill all the Christians, kill all the Jews. Yeah, I know in another part of the Quran it says that you shouldn't do that and that you should be nice to them. But I also know that was the earlier part of the Quran when Muhammad thought he could convince everybody. But when they said, no, Muhammad, we don't agree with you, we're not going to listen to you, he went out into the desert, he recruited an army, and he changed all that. And he said, kill the Jews, kill the Christians, make them submit, make them convert. And then when he decided he also could be a gangster as well as a mass murderer, he said, maybe we can make them dhimmis, we can make them servants, and they can pay us money. We have to, after all, we don't want to work. So we have to, we want to be warriors, so they're going to have to do the work for us. So that's the basis for the religion that is used as the justification for jihad, for killing Christians and Jews in mass numbers all over the world. And that's the one that we say has been hijacked. Or is it true that if people try to make it into a religion of peace, they're hijacking it? No reason they shouldn't. But in order to get it done effectively, you sure better know what you're doing. And I would say the people that dealing with the Muslim religion, the Muslim faith, and the way in which it's used to create more violence than any religion has ever created directly from the religion. See, we're used to, in talking about Judaism and Christianity, we're used to violence and murder and theft and all being a perversion of the religion, not taught by Jesus, not taught by Moses or the prophets. In the case of the Muslim religion, Muhammad taught it and did it. Much bigger problem. So let's take a look at what happened when we decide to get serious about the fact that 70,000 young people last year alone were deprived of having a continued life because China wanted to make money on fentanyl. You got the picture, Ted, of the boat trying to bring in massive amounts of fentanyl to lace drugs, and what our military did to it? I hope they play that all over Venezuela. Maduro can't protect us from that. You tell me what he's going to do in response. Tell me. I think the what was he, a garbage man or a postal deliverer or whatever the hell he was?
You're talking about Zelensky here?
No, Maduro. Maduro was Chavez's pick.
Yes.
And he's just as bloodthirsty, not quite as communist, but just as bloodthirsty, but considerably dumber than Chavez.
That's right, and I for one am surprised he's been able to hold on to power this long, considering
he's
not Chavez.
More violent,
right,
and more frightening.
But Chavez put everything in place.
Oh, Chavez!
Yeah.
I'm not going to say Chavez was it. Chavez did it all like Muhammad did by killing.
Right. That's right, Mayor. Well, Mayor, what is your response to? And let's take this folks that are. Well, sure, there are the crybabies, but let's say there's some that may
be an innocent person on that boat.
Yeah. So yeah, what is your response to those that are out there suggesting? Well, there's a couple of points being made. One, the amount of resources that some claim may have been used to do this, kind of the imbalance of kinetic energy, right, between the two here, the United States military versus this fishing boat.
We use too many resources to stop the delivery of fentanyl. We have any idea how much fentanyl and how many people it could have killed? Did they bother to look at that?
Right, and talk about the message that something like this can send to others. How do you think this will be discouraging? Will it take more?
They don't know a damn thing about deterrence because they preach encouragement of crime, not deterrence of crime. I mean, Democrat politicians have become aiders and embedders of the worst crimes. They wouldn't know anything about deterrence of crime. I'm telling you, not everybody who's a drug dealer is a great hero. And watching that, and how many people were on that boat? 11? Yeah,
11. One short of the 12.
I bet 7, 8 of them were just, ordinary people that are crooked. They don't want to go that way.
Right.
That alone will cut. You're going to see a definable decrease in fentanyl just by watching that. They didn't think we would do that. Biden was just letting it happen. He wasn't even checking for it. He must have thought we wanted it. You know, these people are not, in some cases, educated, in some cases, literate. So they interpret based on signals. Now, you come to the border and they help you get through, and they don't search you. And if you ask, they ask for your criminal record and you say none, and they don't check you. I don't know what you think. You think everything's fine. We can do whatever we want. Let's go into Colorado and rape some of the women and take over the towns. And then they see the governor on television acting like a pure puppeteer jackass. And the mayor saying, I'll stand at the gates of the city to stop Tom Holman. And then they all go looking for the gates of the city, and they can't find any gates to the city.
Let me know when you find those gates.
And the more intelligent Venezuelans were saying, do you know the gates of the city of Denver? The mayor's going to stand there and stand up for us. What are you, crazy? There are no gates to the city.
What?
Well, the mayor picked the gates of a city that has no city because the mayor doesn't have the balls to stand up. The mayor would find it very embarrassing urinating in his pants when Holman showed up. Yeah. And meanwhile, he'd have Feliz Navidad supporting him.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad.
Isn't he
It's
cute?
my favorite clip we got.
He turned Colorado and he turned Denver into one of the most dangerous cities in the country, all by himself with the jackass mayor that he has.
So Mayor, if you're a Tren de Aragua,
and I see that guy,
who's going to discourage you more from coming to the United States? That guy or that video we just played for the first 10 minutes of the show?
I think the video scares the hell out of me. That guy tells me, boy, I could take that guy over. He's too stupid to know what's going on. Or how about that guy or Donald Trump? That guy or Tom Holman?
All right, let's say you have to secure your home for a night and you just meet these three guys.
How about I make a call for somebody to help me, and that guy singing Feliz Navidad.
Right. Yeah,
sent by
someone
Zohan Mondami. That's what he wants to send to help us. People who are peace interventionists.
And we didn't have to find that video of him singing that. Like, he released that. Someone consciously made that decision.
Right.
So think about that.
Right.
Well, it's like the guy in the state right near him.
You have some good ones.
Red
Big hair.
Chinese tampon Tim.
Oh, yeah. Well, Minnesota.
Going around with his hands up all the time, yelling and screaming and acting like a complete doofus. I'm telling us that he'd rather be in China than America. China should be the moral arbiter of our situation in the Middle East.
Well, did somebody alert him that he missed the parade? Tampon missed the parade they had the other day.
Are you sure?
You're right. Yeah. Has anyone seen Tampon the last couple of days?
I actually thought that Governor Newsom gave them a better parade than
Big Hair. That's my favorite nickname you have for him.
Big Hair Hollywood.
Yeah, Big Hair Hollywood. That's a good one.
I thought he gave him a better parade than Z did. He really put out everything for the boss.
Well, one time they decided to clean some of those filthy cities.
It's really good. I mean, the guy is historic, you know. I mean, and they were cheering how historic he is. He's killed the most Chinese. He's the man who's killed the most Chinese in the world. He's number one. He's not 2 or 3. He's number 1. I mean, the Ayatollah has killed a lot of Iranians, but not as many as he's killed Chinese. Castro killed a lot of Cubans, but nowhere near the number he killed as Chinese. That's an accomplishment when you can kill that many of your own people and they'll still give you parades.
Well, they don't want to be on the other end of the barrel.
Caesar didn't have parades coming into Rome because he killed Romans. Like he killed the other guys.
So that what we have on screen is the I guess the parade thrown by Governor Big
What's
Hair.
this? What am I watching now?
This is the streets of San Francisco when Governor Big Hair hosted the premiere of China.
This is
the parade.
This is when the maniacal, homicidal maniac Xi Jinping was greeted like a conquering, loving, terrific hero among the Chinese people. There had to be Chinese people that took the wrong thing from this and came to the conclusion that Governor Newsom, insider trading Pelosi and her scumbag husband, and they're communists. Why would they do a big thing like this for?
And that's the nicest thing we can say about them. They have zero respect for America, the American people.
How about the new people that come to? You have no respect for the Chinese people. Many of them had to come here escaping that guy, and you bring him here for a celebration. Who knows how many of their relatives he killed?
Right. So it really
They
goes
don't
to
care.
show they don't care. He was at the time when he did this, he wanted to, more than anything, right? Obviously, play a big boy role with the leader of a foreign nation coming into town. And again, it's
so 30,000 pages of Epstein have now been released.
Now, how much of this is new and how much of it is stuff that have been out there in different?
They did do an assessment of that. Let me see, and I've forgotten.
But just to pick up on that point, as the mayor said, that they've done a release of further documents. Of
97%
same
had already been out.
Well, 3% of 30,000 pages, right? I mean, that's 900. That's almost 1,000 new documents.
So also to back up the testimony of Jeffrey, not Jeffrey, I'm sorry. Yeah, we'll back up her testimony too. But to back up the testimony of Maxwell, that Trump had no involvement. Every one of the group of victims, which I believe are now 20, that have been interviewed and are going to appear before the House at some point, have unequivocally said that there was no involvement of Trump. None. Right. And apparently,
we have that.
They have named other public figures who had multiple involvements. I think I know one of them.
So we have video. Yeah, we want to play video.
So they've named the names already, and any surprises on there?
I don't think they named all the names.
They haven't named the names.
They have named names?
They have not named names. That was a big part of today. Let's play the clip. Sorry, we're not able to keep up with the chyrons here.
I do have to ask, and I know, and it's just something that I think we're compelled to at this moment, with the attention on President Trump, with these questions around a pardon. Did anybody see or hear of the president himself doing anything inappropriate as it related to Jeffrey Epstein?
No.
I do have to ask, and I know, and it's just something that I think we're compelled to at this moment, with the attention on President Trump, with these questions around a pardon. Did anybody see or hear of the president himself doing anything inappropriate as it related to Jeffrey Epstein?
No.
I do have to ask, and I know, and it's just something that.
Well, let's not be unfair. She only asked it once, right? Yeah. She didn't seem very happy with the answer.
Sorry, I can't do it. Of course not.
I'm surprised they didn't edit it. I'm surprised they didn't take it out. Wasn't that NBC? Was that NBC or was that CBS? I couldn't tell. Does it matter? Would you say one's worse than the other? NBC is worse, right?
Depends on the day. I must say, to be fair, I've had positive interactions with specific reporters at both outlets. Would you say you have too? Never, not once.
Oh yeah, many years ago.
Okay, you're saying in the last 5 years.
They were all on a very, very tight leash.
Sure.
I mean, they're gonna have to bang up Trump if they have to, or they've got jobs are gone, and their kids don't get fed.
Sure, that's
disgusting, and they're disgusting. And when people say, people are getting criticized, saying some of these reporters are like Nazi prison guards, they don't mean the level of terror that was involved for Jewish people. God forbid, no, we don't mean that. What we mean is the idea that they'll go along with depravity and say, oh, you know, we were just workers. We were just workers. Well, there are certain things that workers should do, and there are certain things that workers shouldn't do. Obviously, putting people in ovens is one they shouldn't do. But spewing lies about them, supporting lies about them, cutting out major parts of a highly sensitive political piece to make the person look like they actually have a brain when in fact they should be in an insane asylum, they shouldn't do. How about when George Bush is declared president of the United States, the people in the back of CBS shouldn't be crying? I was there for that. Obviously, they shouldn't be involved in political reporting. They're not objective enough. If you cared about objectivity. But CBS doesn't care about objectivity. CBS just cares about making China happy and making their advertisers happy and being woke. And in fact, they're made up of all very well brainwashed Ivy League students who make up their group of employees. China and Russia were meeting this week, and they're concluding a deal that's really a remake of a prior deal. Now, this is really valuable to focus on, because China and Russia have real problems that a smart United States could utilize if the United States would start becoming smart. And Trump wants to be, and they're stopping him. They did an agreement back in 2017 or so, known as the Power of Siberia Pipeline. It now is number one because it fell apart because the Chinese and the Russians were fighting so much. Then when China was desperately in need of oil and Russia was desperately in need of a customer, they built another one known as the Power of Siberia 2 pipeline. And it carries 50 billion cubic meters of gas a year from Russia to China through Mongolia. And they have any number of difficulties with this. Arguments, difficulties, it's our property, it's your property, it belongs to us, China stole it from us. India has these similar problems. And they are in essence, trying to, I think, cover them over. Well, right there, you see three of the most prolific murderers in the world together. As far as killing their own people, the guy in the middle is the undisputed world champion. Xi Jinping and the Chinese have specialized in killing Chinese people. The estimates range from a very, very pro-communist number of 70 million to a probably more realistic number of 110 to 120 million. I don't know that Kim Jong-un has a high number of killing his own people. He generally kills other people. And Putin has done some of each. You know it's Putin if they're poisoned. Now, why he's shaking their hands is kind of interesting, because their lives depend on him. If he wants them eliminated, he just said, I don't like those people, get rid of them.
Right. And of course,
you're looking at three maniacal murderers. And no matter what the president says about their being friends and he gets along with them, I get it for diplomatic affairs. I am quite certain, or I am hopeful, that he carries in the back of his mind that these people are not like him. They are not like any of the people that he knows. These guys are pathological, mentally ill murderers and want to achieve their goals through. It's interesting that
So, of course, this parade, China had held this parade, Mayor, in conjunction with the 80th anniversary of World War II. And, of course, their angle here is to kind of present China as the actual savior of the world. The parade included fighter jets, missiles, and goose-stepping troops.
All that China did was defeat Chiang Kai-shek, which meant nothing. Russia could have a claim that they participated in the defeat of the Germans, because they did. They drove them out of Russia. China didn't do shit. Korea didn't do anything.
I have a feeling the Japanese, well, thinking back, the Japanese had invaded China's mainland, correct? And I mean, what ended up happening, how did we get from World War II to Korea?
If America had Japan not attacked America, Japan would now control China. If they had remained in a singular dimension war against the Chinese continent, it would now be controlled by the little island of Japan. Thousands of years of war, and Japan predominates over China. China needed allies. That's why they allied with Hitler. And when Hitler attacked them, they allied with us, and we took them. And I think it probably was right to do, because it did ease our ability to defeat Hitler, because it kept him burdened by two wars on two different parts of the continent. But in the long run, it started the Cold War, right?
Right. And so what you've seen on screen here the last few minutes is in China, kind of a show of force by China in what's been described as the largest military parade in the history of Beijing. But
this is very, very impressive, the way they're marching here. This should mean that they would be very, very tough in a jungle battle.
Yeah, that's going to come. It's going to come in real handy.
Really, really valuable in a jungle battle.
Yeah. Balancing on one foot there for a second. Yeah. That's going to get you real far in the first.
Very impressive.
But we can be impressed by the marching, though. It is some good marching.
I will say, yeah. Take everything else aside.
The marching, I don't know if the marching reminds me of automatons, not human beings.
But that's the point. That's the point.
When I look at that marching, I know why China is not a creative country.
Exactly.
I can see a non-creative country.
I don't know how good I'd be at that, Mayor.
Look at these guys. They can't. Look at that.
I'd be the guy really struggling.
Then you'd be disappeared. Then
those guys are not allowed to think.
Right.
If you're not allowed to think, you can't think about solutions to high-level engineering.
Right. What is China's?
Instead, if you're taught to be a thief, which they are, you steal it.
Yep.
Now, this, interestingly enough, of course, both the North Korean leader and President Putin were on scene. Interestingly enough, the North Korean leader, Kim Jong-un, he was forced to take a train.
He doesn't have an airplane.
This is his arrival to. This is how he arrived to Beijing.
Is that a train or a Greyhound bus?
His train apparently goes 60 kilometers per hour.
Wait, is this his private train?
He only travels.
No, it's a regular train.
Well, yeah, I'm sure.
Now, that would be an embarrassment for the Long Island Railroad.
But that's how he made his way to.
Maybe we exaggerate their potency.
This train, by the way, the one that you're seeing on screen, has actually been used by.
Looks like a pretty old train.
I don't like to defend these things, but like the train's kind of cool too. I mean, like we're dogging on the train. It's probably
is
old
cool.
and shitty, but it's like
it is cool. I think
historic.
I think I had that when I was about 5 years old.
It looks like a toy train, right? Yeah.
I bet he's got. I mean, he's he spends a lot of his like starving people's money on luxury. So
I bet he has his
checked
own
out.
train collection,
I
and,
bet
and they
it's
let him
checked
play
out.
with it. His sister lets him play with it. His
Look at
sister runs
his
everything.
sister. Huh.
His sister lets him really runs everything. Did you notice that Trump sent his regards to Kim Jong-un and his sister?
Oh, he in his post, I did not.
There's something he said the other day. He said, "I send my regards to Kim Jong-un and his sister."
So what we're
She's
seeing
I
very
here,
know another very big Chinese businessman. He's very wealthy. He's extremely fat, and he bets like $10 million and stuff like that. And his sister comes with him to keep control of him. And if she says no, he looks at her and he's like frightened as hell. I think that I think that the same thing is true with Kim Jong-un.
so what do you think the overall, I mean, beyond the obvious, what should we take away from this meeting and this show of force, Mayor? Outside, beyond the obvious. Obviously, the three leaders are together and they're showing off what they consider force. What do you think we as Americans should take away from this? I mean, this parade, what
Well,
we're seeing.
from what I can see and what I've read, they haven't shown us anything that should frighten us. They may have things that can frighten us, but at least in this display, they haven't shown us anything that can frighten us. This is almost cultural and instinctual for them. This may be more to make their own people feel secure, but there's nothing you're watching there that we can't handle, that we don't know about, and we don't have much better solutions to. Our military is much better organized than theirs. A military that marches like that, a military that is so subservient, is going to win a battle based on A, B, C, D, and E. If E turns out to be the wrong hill, they just lost the battle. When you want, you know right away, you can look at that army and know that it is not a frightening modern army.
No adaptability.
Yeah, and boy, used to be true 100 years ago, you needed adaptability. Now you need only adaptability. I mean, you fight in the strangest places. You don't fight in the streets of a city.
Or you do sometimes, but
I mean, this hardware is impressive. They have a lot of it, which means they can do a lot of damage. The question is, how well can they deliver it? And they have a lot of people, which means they can do a lot of damage, particularly the Chinese.
you know, maybe some of those guys are the ones that just got cut from Shenyang, Chinese government.
So here is Xi Jinping at the beginning of the conference.
Гостями из 5 континентов торжественно отмечать 80-летие победы китайского народа в войне сопротивления японским захватчикам и победы мировой антифашистской войны.
Try to find an English translation, Mayor, but they're really setting this conference up, portraying, as we talked earlier, as China and Russia as the principal victors of World War II, which of course flies in the face of reality. Although Russia, of course, can take, I mean, they were a big part of.
Well, if they were the principal victors and the biggest beneficiaries, how come their two economies together doesn't equal ours?
Right. Isn't that, I mean, China immediately after World War II had, what was their role with Korea? They simply couldn't, I mean, they were still dealing with Japan at that time?
No, they after the war, they used their troops in Korea to make sure that Korea was subdivided into North and South, so there'd be a Chinese section. So there'd be a Chinese section of Korea, which ultimately became North and South Korea.
Mm-hmm.
And that really was largely due to our submission to them, as opposed to contesting them. And if we had contested them, we would have destroyed them. Their army was devastated. We'll be back. very shortly. U.S. Army Major Scott Smiley paid a high price serving our nation. Scott was leading his platoon in Iraq when a blast sent shrapnel through his eyes, leaving him blind and temporarily paralyzed. Scott would become the first blind active duty military officer before medically retiring years later. Thanks to friends like you, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation gave Scott and his family a mortgage-free, specially adapted smart home. Show your support for America's heroes now. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers.
Are you ready for some action?
I'm ready for action.
Get the Elite TV plan only through the portal. 218 channels, and it's only $69.95 a month,
Wow.
including your free portal.
That's cheaper than everyone else.
Your favorite sports, movies, news,
Wow.
even daytime dramas. We're talking about ESPN, OAN, Newsmax,
Wow.
channels you can't get anymore in certain areas.
Compared to the competition, this is a way better deal.
Endless selection. Not to mention all the free music channels. There's over 700 premium and classic movies all ready to go.
Wow.
Plus, they got catch-up TV that allows you to go back and watch what you've missed or want to watch again. Cut your cable in half and get twice as much for free.
Way more channels for half the cost.
After the first year, the subscription then drops to $57.95 monthly,
Wow.
where you change or upgrade anytime. Go to QUXNow.com and get yours today. Use promo code RUDY. Act fast. These deals are selling out.
Here we are, pretty much at the beginning of the process here at this pristine, I call it a laboratory. It's not like a factory, it's like a hospital. This is the beginning of the process for roasting. Deep grain, very good quality. Most people don't use this quality. We deal with small farmers because we like to know who we're dealing with. They give us the highest quality, all organic, non-GMO. You should know all Arabica beans. No Robusto, all Arabica. They're going to go into the roaster and it'll get roasted for about 20 minutes or so. Oh my goodness, look at these. My goodness. You're going to want to specially order these. This is what goes into Rudy's coffee. U.S. Army Major Scott Smiley paid a high price serving our nation. Scott was leading his platoon in Iraq when a blast sent shrapnel through his eyes, leaving him blind and temporarily paralyzed. Scott would become the first blind active duty military officer before medically retiring years later. Thanks to friends like you, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation gave Scott and his family a mortgage-free, specially adapted smart home. Show your support for America's heroes now. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. Welcome back to America's Mayor Live with the Gladiator. And speaking of communists, de Blasio has endorsed Mondani. You know why? De Blasio knows deep down in his heart, having gotten less than 1% when he ran for president, which is impossible. That means people cast negative votes. Nobody cast a vote for him. They just put little notes in saying, we don't want de Blasio to be anywhere near the presidency because he's a damn communist. Now, he is supporting Mondani for a completely selfish reason, much like Dinkins supported him. When he became mayor shortly, Dinkins was no longer the worst mayor in New York history. As soon as Mondani came around and started talking, people that like de Blasio, of which there are 4, not including his ex-wife, were very anxious to get Mondani elected because he will clearly make de Blasio a better mayor, I think. Now, it was alleged, of course, that de Blasio was a communist based on the fact that his mother was a communist, based on the fact that he went to Cuba on his honeymoon and supported the Sandinistas who fought and killed Americans, and also had positions that seemed to be very, very pro-communist positions, never proven, but alleged. The other guy, Mondani, doesn't even deny being a communist. His positions are square on communistic. So de Blasio figures this guy will be worse than I was. Plus, immediately, he wants to pull out another $10 billion to give people things for nothing, which would make New York City not just bankrupt, it'd make it an economic mess. I don't think he'll get the $10 billion, but who knows? So Donald Trump on September 11 is going to go to the Cathedral of Baseball. I mean, I know he's going to go to St. Patrick's, but according to the reports, he's going to go to the Cathedral of Baseball, who no one knows better than me. I've been there since I was a baby. I have a seat from the old Yankee Stadium. And I have many times been at Yankee Stadium with Donald J. Trump, with our close mutual friend, George Steinbrenner. And I'm glad to see he's reviving his spirit as a Yankee fan. It's good for him to do that. And by September 11, it should be quite a pennant race, because right now, Toronto's ahead by 3, and the Yankees and the Red Sox are pretty much in a tie at 3 games out.
Yeah, and you got quite the race in the AL East.
And it was predicted when Toronto took a big lead a while back, it was predicted that it would be the Yankees and the Red Sox. Forget these upstarts, the team from Canada.
Oh, geez.
So the Yankees are winning tonight, but they're only in the second inning. They're playing in Houston, and they're winning 1-0.
Okay.
Against the Houston Astros, who are a problem for them. Since the Houston Astros stole signs on them, they've been a problem for them. I think they get them, what would you say, unnerved.
Yep.
Because they steal signs.
Yep. So
isn't it good the president's a sports fan?
Right, yeah, right. As big.
You never got the feeling that, well,
they'd fake it. Some of these other guys faked it, right?
Biden wasn't a sports fan.
Biden wouldn't know what.
I mean, I've known Biden for many, many years, long before he was president. Now, you would say he wasn't a sports fan when he was president because he couldn't follow a sport because he was demented. But even when he was a senator, and I would talk to him, and I really knew him, socially, and he never talked about sports. He didn't seem to know a damn thing about sports. Basically, his subjects were sissy subjects. And
yeah, he didn't. Yeah, I can't imagine.
Obama knew about one sport, basketball, nothing else.
Oh, did he? Yeah, and did he know about it?
Yeah. Did you ever see him throw the first ball?
I have. Oh gosh, I think I have. I'll try to find some of that. Watch. Now, Mayor, I'm guessing you must have done a good job with the first pitch.
This is the way.
Oh!
That's the way a man
can't do that. You gotta be Mayor. BLT.
Yeah.
BLT.
Did you notice what I did?
BLT.
No,
don't twist.
I want you to do that.
You cannot twist. No twisting. No twisting.
Here's the way a lot of girls who aren't taught to play baseball throw until they start playing softball.
You're not twisting, right? Yeah. There we go.
That's the way Obama threw. Go watch him throw out the first pitch. He threw like a girl.
I gotta. We'll try to find. We'll try to find something there, Mayor, of that. But I want to bring this picture up right
girls.
Here.
I taught girls how to do it. I taught them how to do it.
So what I have on screen here, Mayor.
I showed them how. I don't know if Bloomberg ever threw out the first ball. I don't know if Bloomberg ever threw out the first ball.
Put the jacket over it. That's Bloomberg.
I know
right
Obama
there.
had a tough time throwing out the first ball. And for a guy who played basketball as well as they say he did, he sure didn't look like an athlete. Trump can throw out the first ball. Bush, remember?
Let's bring up some now. Yeah.
Remember when he threw his strike at a critical moment, big for America? That was a great pitch by a man.
That was after. Was that the first game at Yankee Stadium after 9/11?
No, it was the first game. You got it right. First game at Yankee Stadium, not the first game of the series. It was the third.
And then Game 3 of the World Series.
It was the third game. It was the third game of the series.
Well, here he is at the Game 3. Yeah.
Number 3.
Here we go.
This giant crowd.
What a night.
I remember looking around the stadium at this giant crowd.
Scared. I was so frightened that somebody would kill him. That's a pitch.
The place just went berserk.
I remember.
So that was an example of George Bush with a first pitch. Let's see if we got Mayor Giuliani here.
God bless him. I know there were a whole bunch of problems with Trump, and he shouldn't do what he did, but the guy was the right guy at the right time, and he really stood up after years of caving in to the Islamic enemies of America. What are you looking for, Ted?
Oh, well, we're looking for some additional first pitches. We got George Bush up there. Looking for President Trump, looking for Mayor Giuliani. I'll even use Obama if I find him. So what we saw there. So the mayor's point being President Trump will be at the Yankees game on September 11th. And so that'll be interesting to watch.
I think it's very, very good because baseball did play a big role in the rehabilitation of America that year. All things work differently at different times. I would say two things played a big role in the rehab of America: baseball and God. Now, unlike the pandemic where they kicked God out, nobody thought about kicking God out, thank God, and God just came right in and took over. There were more memorial services, more masses, more religious services, more Jewish services than you ever saw. I was a person who at various times in life had been very religious and then not so religious. So I was used to going to church a lot or not at all for a while. But I've never been to church more often than during that period of time. And I've never seen people more dedicated and more willing to talk about their religion. Americans are sometimes reluctant to talk about their religion. I don't know why. Maybe it's separation of church and state. Maybe it's just natural, embarrassment? Why would you be embarrassed of your religion? Maybe it's prejudice that there are people, there is a certain view. This is a Marx view, and it has dominated all of the Ivy League and pretend Ivy League colleges. And that view is that God is for the ignorant. People who believe in God need a crutch. They need something to rely on because it's obviously there's no God and you're your own God. Now, from a religious person who is just as intelligent as they are, if not more, I will tell you that we can make the opposite observation. And the opposite observation is they're not intelligent enough to get themselves up to the cliff. And they're not intelligent enough to get themselves to the utter limits of their ability to do logic. And because of that, they're insecure and they have to make fun of people that did. Because here's my view, and this comes from Kant and Descartes. And I can't yet prove to you with scientific evidence or irrefutable logic, maybe, the existence of God. I can prove to you the opposite, that it's impossible for you to prove the negative, that there is no God. Impossible. You can't give me an alternative explanation that makes sense, that can be accepted as scientific fact for the emergence of this universe. And I don't even want to go into it because we'll go into long, long conversations and great, great debates. But believe me, trust me, there's no way you can give me an explanation that will satisfy me, if I'm being intellectually honest, that there is no God. So I would say there are two positions available to an intelligent person who spends time really analyzing the world and analyzes the greatest question that the world presents. Is there a God? And the answer to that is, yes, there is, or I don't know, not no, there isn't. So you have the believer and the agnostic. The atheist has given up, and for many reasons is a flawed human being. Maybe arrogant because they have to protect themselves against what they know is obviously their intellectual inferiority. They have to protect themselves because they've thought through this. It's very painful for them, and they don't want to be judged that way anymore. They like to scream rather than argue. They like to repeat rather than to analyze. And they are pretty much intellectually useless people because they can't give you much of an intelligent observation of the world. Not so with agnostics, who will say, I cannot tell. I'm sorry, I cannot tell. Which brings you to Soren Kierkegaard, I believe, who, I think it was Kierkegaard's leap of faith. So Kierkegaard said that all the logic, all the philosophy in the world will bring you to a cliff. And when you get to that cliff, logic has run out. I wonder if I have a board here. I'll do it on a piece of paper. Logic has run out. Now, there are any number of things, very powerful, that will encourage you to jump over that cliff about the existence of God. But there's nothing that compels you, and there's nothing that would be purely logical that emerges from what our minds are able to comprehend. So those of us who have faith go through a leap of faith. Now, you will find words in the New Testament from Jesus Christ saying very much the same thing. You have seen and you believe, he said to those who saw his miracles, but blessed are those who haven't seen and believe. They will be very special in the kingdom of heaven. And that's Jesus, not a philosopher. Just God giving you the answer.
And what is your response, Mayor, to anyone, I'll even take politics out of it, anyone who mocks another for turning to prayer in time of desperation, need, tragedy, sadness, despair, and I'll keep politics out of it. What are we to think of somebody?
Well, I mean, I would put him in several categories. I can think of two quickly. I'm not sure it covers all of it. First, I would feel sorry for some because they're insecure and they don't know how to deal with it. And the subject of God is a very, very powerful subject. And sometimes we don't realize how powerful it is, but we sure realize it when we're dying. So it might be that they're just afraid, and therefore they don't want to confront the issue. The second group are evil people, and they want to wipe out God. They want to wipe out God. They want to wipe out people who believe in God. They want to wipe God out so they don't have to be bothered by it, like Marx did, like the communists do. So they're going to use tantalizing things to try to get you to prove to you that there is no God. And remember when they came up with the Big Bang theory? How did the Earth begin? There was a Big Bang. Well, who banged?
It's the most kindergarten explanation for how we got here.
Yeah, but who put
a big bang?
Who and what banged?
Nothing more to see here, guys.
Who banged and who put whatever banged here? You haven't given me the answer by saying there was a bang. Was it just always here? And if it was always here, did somebody put it here or not? So the answer that there's a God who created all this is not necessarily proven by science or logic, but it's not disproven, and it is, I would argue, suggested by it. It's suggested by it. You get really close to its being able to be proved because it's a more logical explanation than what's the alternative? It was here forever. It didn't start and end. And I think God left us that way so that we could prove our worth. Like he said, blessed are those who haven't seen but believe. And then he went on to say something about them in the kingdom of heaven. I'd have to have the Bible with me to remember the rest of it.
And pray for that faith too. That is not a useless exercise at all.
Pardon me?
Pray for that faith too.
Yes.
Right?
People get prayer really confused. Sometimes they get confused because of memorized prayers. I think memorized prayers are extremely important because I think they bring you back to periods of your life that you have to relive, periods of strength and periods of weakness. Because if you had any kind of religious tradition, you learned prayers and they meant something to you, and it's important to connect with that. But then I think you have to learn how to pray with what prayer really is, which is a conversation with God. It's talking to God, telling God what you want, what you need, what you're confused about, asking him for help. It can be an Our Father and a Hail Mary to precede it, but it really is a dialogue with your Lord and Savior and your hope that somehow he's going to help you obtain wisdom. And that's really what prayer is, a conversation with God.
Well, and the gift of it as well is that you can have that conversation in the setting and in the manner that you're most comfortable, which makes it an even more intimate experience. And you need to be able to discover your way to do that. Prayer.
Well said.
A lot.
Well said. I mean, there are people that practice
100%.
all sorts of faiths, right? Christianity is a big tent. I don't go around mocking any others that choose to practice or choose to find comfort in their own way.
Well, I admire anyone that finds their way to a good life, even if they don't believe in God. If they find their way to a good life, I do think it's more often the case that you're going to find your way to a good life with some form of belief in God. I really do think that. I really do think that people who don't believe in God should be very happy that there are a lot of people that do, because it creates a moral framework that they may not believe in, but it still works to make the world a better place. a world without God is an absolutely out of control world where human beings then can have uncontrolled worse desires. And if you want to get really spiritual about it, and you believe in the Bible, then it's a world controlled by the devil.
Yeah, and I don't know. It feels like we're getting there in some of these times.
Sometimes it does. Well, a couple of things I want to cover because I want to go over to Dr. Maria in a short while. First of all, I made this point last night. They repeated it again today. But here's a hope for defeating Mondani. His whole staff are rookies, not a single political professional. Now he's going to be facing, it sounds like, Cuomo and Sliwa. And I do not think, although I haven't had a chance over the short period of time that I know about this to analyze it, but I'm not giving up on the fact that Sliwa now has a chance. It's an outside chance. I'm not telling you that he can make it and wow, but I'm telling you there's now a narrow pathway for Sliwa, a bigger pathway for Cuomo. And with all these rookies around who have very, very strange anti-American ideas, there might be a bigger chance than not. So there was an English comic, I just mentioned this quickly for the free speech angle here that I'm so frightened of. There was an English comic, I have no idea who he is, if he's famous or not. It sounds like he is. His name is Lynan. And he made 3 jokes about trans people and they put him in jail. I don't know what the hell that is. That sounds like what they used to do during our revolution.
We know Germany has really strict.
Does King Charles want to be George III?
Is this in England?
Cops in the UK over 3 anti-trans social media posts shortly after arriving at London airport arrested Irish comedy writer Graham Linehan for 3 tweets in which published on X in 2 days in April. In one, he said, which showed a picture of a trans right rally with the caption, "A photo you can smell," was made on April 19th. Offensive, not very nice. A crime? Yeah, in a dictatorship. The same day, he also posted, "I hate them, misogynist and homophobes. F them." He hates what? The trans? And he believes they're homophobes? I mean, it doesn't all get together and make sense, but is that a crime? If he believes that way, so what? He's not hurting anybody.
Another reason, right? And another example of how much we must protect the First Amendment. What's happening in Europe? I know this was happening in Germany and some of the EU countries. I thought the UK was...
Monday, September 1 at 1300 hours, officers arrested him at Heathrow Airport after he arrived on an inbound American Airlines flight. The man in his 50s was arrested on suspicion of inciting violence. That is in relation to the posts on X. I don't know.
Just terrible, terrible, terrible.
On April 20th, he wrote, "If a trans-identified male is in a female-only space, he is committing a violent, abusive act. Make a scene, call the cops, and if all else fails, punch him in the balls. Now, in America, that would be protected by free speech.
Right.
It's a stupid thing to say. It's a wrong thing to say. But we don't put people in jail for speech. When did England start doing that? And this trans thing is very volatile for gays, for straights, for lesbians, for trans. I mean, it is a very complicated thing about which we don't have complete science yet. I'm sorry, we don't have a definitive answer to all of this. So stop acting like you're, Sigmund Freud or God. Not a good comparison because Sigmund Freud wasn't God. Ted already made the point that Kim Jong-un couldn't afford a plane to come to China, so had to take an 11-hour train ride on a shit train. And therefore, Rocket Man hardly seems to be a rocket man. He couldn't get a rocket for this trip.
Well, that's a good point.
Right?
That's a very good point, Mayor. We got to take away his title. Train guy. He goes from Rocket Man to train guy.
A lot of
Passenger on a train.
A lot of plane crashes in the feed. Maybe he gets a lot of plane crashes.
Let's not avoid crash. Let's avoid crashes for a while.
Well, the court has declared illegal Trump's setting of tariffs and said that Congress did not authorize his ability to do it broadly, that he has to go to Congress in order to do it. But the language of the statute seems to say it. And here's what I don't understand. I don't understand what role the court has in this. This is between the United States president and the United States Congress. I think this is a political question that's outside the purview of the Supreme Court, outside the purview of judicial review. And since you can only operate on granted powers, not assumed powers, I think the court is overreaching here. And I hope there are enough responsible conservatives to get that back to that position. If anybody's upset with the way the president is using a tariff, the court has no power to stop him. The Congress does. The United States Constitution, in all its wisdom, confine that power to 2, not 3 branches of government, specifically. As they did almost all of the foreign trade and foreign relations aspects of our government. And shouldn't it be that way? What the hell do judges know about foreign relations? I'm wondering after the last 20 or 30 years and watching the 2020 election, what the hell do judges know about fairness? But that's a different story. Or honesty, or not caving into a political party. Here's a nice little article saying I was released from the hospital. I'm out of the hospital. I'll be back tomorrow. By tomorrow, I'll be even better. But no matter what, I have to wear this thing for quite some time, right, Ted? Did we find out how long? We did.
I don't want to say, I think a couple weeks at least.
Dr. Maria wrote it down.
It's either at least 5 days, but maybe a couple weeks. But you know what? If it's working and it makes you feel better, we'll just keep it on.
She's not here, but she watches this.
Yeah,
so
she's watching us.
If I were to take it off, Ed and I and Stephen would be in deep trouble.
Oh yeah, not just the mayor. Oh yeah, we'll hear it too.
Even Raleigh might be in trouble.
Twisting.
Yeah, no twisting. You got
Raleigh, come on over here.
You got to move the whole chair.
Before I get off, I want you to go over. I want you to go over now. I want you to go over to. Oh, well, bring him up. Bring him up here. Come on, Rob. Don't resist. You're a star. Look at this boy. Look at this boy. Come here. Come here. Come on. Come and sit on. Come and sit on, Rudy. Come on. Come on. Come on. Can you see him? Can they see him? There he is. Raleigh, say hello. Go. Woof, 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 woof. Look at you. Look. 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 Can you see on the screen? This is Raleigh. He will be a regular on the show if we can make a deal with his agent, Steven.
I don't know. Raleigh's described as pretty far.
And
right
Raleigh will report on the increasing numbers of stray dogs and how they're not taken care of. And is it true that they eat dogs in China, which would be another reason why they're bitter enemies? Raleigh, how do we feel? How do we feel about people eating dogs? Ruff, ruff. Oh, my good boy. My good boy. He's such a good boy. You get a treat for this. You get a treat for this, Raleigh. Isn't he beautiful? He actually looks a little bigger than he is on this picture because it's a bit of a close-up. He really is a dog in very, very good shape. He's a very kind dog, too. When he first saw that I was in pain, he came over and he kissed me and he licked me. And
he knew.
He knew I was in pain and I needed help. He's a very good dog. Don't you like him?
Yeah.
Hey, you want to say something wrong?
Say, Raleigh.
Yeah, look. Yeah, you lick the microphone. Yeah, lick the microphone. There you go. Now our microphone has been licked by Raleigh.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Okay, Raleigh. Okay. Be careful. Be careful. I don't want you to get hurt. Watch out. Okay.
Or don't hurt him.
Oh, he's not going to hurt me. I love him. He's a great dog. You didn't know that I love dogs, right? I do. And cats. I had a cat too. Missy. I had a dog, Goalie. Very important part of my life. Had some very good dog friends. A lot better than some of the friends I had after I got in trouble. Whew, they took off for the wind. Whew.
Yeah. Well, let's
right.
Let's send folks over to Dr. Maria. How about it?
Now, is she on, Ted?
9 o'clock.
Go ahead, put her on. You see her?
Not yet.
Well, I'm gonna take a shot at it, and I'm gonna tell you to pray. Please pray for all the people in harm's way because of war, that irrational situation of human nature, and also pray for the United States of America, the greatest country on earth, that we continue to guide the world correctly, and our president, who's put us back in that position and is working really hard to keep us there with a lot of opposition. So we'll be back tomorrow night for a full and complete show. Remember, 7 o'clock, Lindell, 8 o'clock, right here on X. God bless America.
Andrew, you're all excited about it?
Absolutely.
Would you like to say something?
This is a great opportunity, Mr. President, to show off the first 250 years of the United States of America, the greatness and then the hope and promise of the next 250 years. When you think this World Cup is going to be over our 250th birthday, Mr. President, your leadership, obviously, with FIFA leading the way, this is the largest sporting event in the history of the world under the Trump administration. So very excited.
I just want to say one thing. Andrew Giuliani said his father is Rudy, the greatest mayor in the history of New York, I think by far. He took a ravaged city, a city that was really under siege. Probably most people thought it was going to survive. He turned it around. He was a great, great mayor. And then they treated him very, very unfairly. You go back and tell your father all of the things that have come out over the last couple of months through Tulsi and through all of the people, Cash, everybody. They've proven your father 100% correct. His father was treated so unfairly. Your father has been 100% correct. And tell him we all love him, okay?
Thank you, Mr. President.
He's an amazing. What he had to go through was very, very unfair, nasty. These are bad people.
It's our purpose to bring to bear the principle of common sense and rational discussion to the issues of our day. America was created at a time of great turmoil, tremendous disagreements, anger, hatred. There was a book written in 1776 that guided much of the discipline of thinking that brought to us the discovery of our freedoms, of our God-given freedoms. It was Thomas Paine's Common Sense, written in 1776, one of the first American bestsellers, in which Thomas Paine explained, by rational principles, the reason why these small colonies felt the necessity to separate from the Kingdom of Great Britain and the King of England. He explained their inherent desire for liberty, for freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the ability to select the people who govern them. And he explained it in ways that were understandable to all the people, not just the elite. Because the desire for freedom is universal. The desire for freedom adheres in the human mind, and it is part of the human soul. This is exactly the time we should consult our history. Look at what we've done in the past and see if we can't use it to help us now. We understand that our founders created the greatest country in the history of the world, the greatest democracy, the freest country, a country that has taken more people out of poverty than any country ever. All of us are so fortunate to be Americans. But a great deal of the reason for America's constant ability to self-improve is because we're able to reason, we're able to talk, we're able to analyze. We are able to apply